Today, I'm boarding Norwegian Escape, a huge Norwegian Cruise Line ship right here in the heart of New York City for a 7-night cruise. This cruise is going to take me to New England and Canada. I'll be visiting Newport, Rhode Island, Portland, Maine, Bar Harbor, St. John, New Brunswick, and Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I cannot wait to get started. I did visit a couple of these ports on my last cruise just last week, on board MSC Meraviglia. Yes, last week, but I'll come back to that. If you'd like to watch those videos too, I'll leave a link down in the description. So, how was I on a cruise last week, and also this week, visiting similar ports? Well, I recently took a sabbatical from my corporate world job back in the UK and spent about 250 nights on cruise ships across the year. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, let's get started on this absolutely incredible trip in New York. I'll see you down at the pier. Hi guys, welcome back. Now, I can hardly believe I'm saying this again, but welcome back to New York City. Now, if you've been following along in my last vlog series, you'll know that I just got off MSC Meraviglia over at Brooklyn Cruise Terminal. Now today, it's this guy's turn. We're here at Pier 88, which is the Manhattan Cruise Terminal, to get on Norwegian Escape. Now, the thing that I'm so excited about with this cruise is that Norwegian Escape is actually the ship that made me absolutely fall in love with the cruise world. It was my first ever cruise ship way back before the pandemic, so I cannot wait. Oh, I can't wait for this one. Now, I'm going to tell you more about the ship, about the ports, about everything once we get on board. The one thing that I will tell you now is that I can't wait to see the room this week, because I'm actually cruising in a studio cabin, which if you've ever thought about cruising solo in Norwegian, chances are you've come up across these rooms at some point. So look, enough from me here on the roadside. Let's head over to the terminal and I will see all of you, I can't believe I'm saying this, on board Norwegian Escape. It's time to leave the street and head into the terminal and get onto this cruise ship. In case you can't already tell, I am so excited to show you what it looks like to cruise from this terminal. The location is absolutely incredible. Here's where you drop your luggage. You'll find this as soon as you get out the taxi or as soon as you arrive outside the terminal building. To be honest, pretty similar to what I've seen at any other port, so there's absolutely nothing that's going to surprise you. Speaking of surprises, one thing that did catch me off guard was how impressively quiet this embarkation experience actually was. For some reason, I expected boarding in New York, especially central New York, to feel really chaotic and quite rushed and very, very busy. However, how wrong was I? There was almost nobody standing in the line. As soon as I cleared the relevant checks, it was straight out to get the first proper look of this absolutely beautiful cruise ship. Time to get up the gangway and time to step on board. So that's it. We're now heading onto the ship and I will see all of you up on the top deck. Guys, welcome on board a pretty windy and pretty loud Norwegian Escape. Now I'm going to be quick here because I haven't put my microphone thing on, so it's probably coming through with a lot of feedback right now. But look, we're up at the very top of the cruise ship. This port is insane because you've got the whole of Manhattan directly behind right now, and then if I spin round, we've got the entire cruise ship. It's amazing. Now, anyway, my cabin is down on deck number 11, but unfortunately I haven't been able to get into that yet because they're not due to be ready for another half hour, I think it is. So 2 PM, all of the rooms should be ready. I've got quite the competition with this helicopter behind. Now today we're joined in port by Saga, so they've got Spirit of Discovery in with us today, and coming in right now is a whole other cruise ship, so I'm not sure which one that is, but let's take a look. Anyway, I am about to defy every single bit of advice that I would usually give you guys, which is avoid the buffet on embarkation day, and that's exactly where we're going. So I'll see you down there for a bite to eat, and then I'll catch up with you properly when we get down into the cabin. Before we head inside to grab a bite to eat, let me tell you a little bit about our new neighbour who's just pulling into port as we speak. This is the World. Now this cruise ship launched in 2002, and is described as the largest privately owned residential yacht on Earth. Apparently on board, the residents come from 20 different countries, they choose the itinerary, and they circumnavigate the globe every 2 to 3 years. I know. Anyway, back to reality for me. Let's head to the buffet for probably the strangest meal I've had yet. This is my take on nachos, but with sandwich filler on top instead of a normal filling. And over here, you've got a plate of everything. I'm not totally convinced the residents on that yacht would be eating the same. However, I loved it. One point before I take you down to the cabin is that when you board Norwegian Escape, you really have to book your entertainment. You can just head down to the box office, which is attached to the theatre. You'll get this bit of paper, and on it, you can choose what shows you want to attend and which you don't, and book them up for the relevant day of your cruise. You can see here, it's pretty busy, so my advice is to head in there as early as you can, while everyone else is outside enjoying the view. Anyway, I'll see you in the cabin. Okay, we are now in the cabin. Now this feels so strange because, as you guys know, this cruise ship was my first ever cruise way back in 2018, I think. Now, I stayed in one of these cabins, and I need to try and go back in my emails to find out what exact room I was, but I think the room I started off my cruise addiction in is on the other side of this wall, so it's very, very strange. Anyway, right now I am coming to you from my studio cabin on board Escape. Now, anyone that's not cruised with Norwegian before, I want to show you around this cabin because honestly, what these guys do from a solo travel point of view, I just get such a kick out of it every time. So look, let me pause here, let me show you around, and then I'll come back to talk to you about the plan before Sailaway. Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. Here's my little cabin here on deck 11 of Norwegian Escape. So, as you can see, it's pretty snug. There's not a great deal to it, but this cabin for a solo traveller, guys, is so good. So, first up, you don't get a single bed here. You get a full-size double, because that answers the question I ask all the time of why are cruise lines giving us as solos a single bed? Because how many single people do you know that choose to sleep in a single bed at home? None, or very few, so that is great. Now over here, you've got all your storage, you then got your shower in there, and then over here, you've got your toilet. Now, I will give you a full room tour of this if you head over to my channel, and you'll see it over there, but I don't want to do it in this video, I just want to give you a really quick look. And guys, do you want a laugh? Look at what is over here. So I came in, and I thought, oh, that's funny, there must be food here because there's cutlery. So, to confirm, a studio cabin is for one person, right? One person only. You cannot book this as a couple. So you come over here. Right, here's 2 sets of cutlery for a start, right? And then you've got this box, which, not even kidding, guys, this box is about the size of my face. So, it's the size of the entire desk, right? Wait till you see what's in this. So, there's an announcement starting now. We've got a full-size anniversary cake. I have no idea what's going on. Look, anyway, I'm going to cut now, and I'll see you back at the desk. Guys, honestly, how good is this? It's the fact that it's so big. Like, in comparison to my head, look at the size of this cake. Right. Let's be real about this for a minute. While I appreciate an anniversary cake, surely, alarm bells rang in someone's mind. Not when they were making them. I mean, that's been made by hand, which makes me feel so bad. Not when they were making them, but surely when they were delivering them. They thought when they opened the door to my solo one-person cabin, oh, an anniversary cake's a bit unusual for in here. But do you know what? It gets better, because I've also got this, right? So this bit of paper says, let's celebrate. And in here it says, we know that you're celebrating. Please give this card to the maitre d' when you go to any restaurant on the night of your celebration. Can you imagine me sitting in the restaurant at a table for one, giving him the card to say it's my anniversary tonight and them having to celebrate it with me? Oh, right, okay, so look, let's put the cake there. I will get to the bottom of the cake, who knows. Maybe I've got a secret admirer. If any of you have written into Norwegian to get me a cake, then thank you. But anyway, look, plan. Right, what have we done over the last couple of hours? Let's get back on to the agenda. Now, the last couple of hours on here have been, oh, they've been busy. So, first up, I had to look at Wi-Fi because Norwegian offer this package, right, called Free at Sea. Free, where you pay, I think it's £199, and you then get 3 perks. So, the first perk is shore excursion credit, so you get $50 per port. You then also get Wi-Fi, and you then also get drinks included. Now, with the Wi-Fi, I didn't realise, but that's split to basic Wi-Fi and premium Wi-Fi. And with the free at sea promotion, you actually get 150 minutes of the basic Wi-Fi. So, to be honest, that will never be enough for me. So I had to figure out how to buy more Wi-Fi. So I did that. And then after that, I went down to book all my shows for the cruise. So Norwegian, I don't remember having to book shows. So make sure if you are coming on here, you have to go down to the box office, which was on deck 7, just above the supper club when you get onto the ship. Now, if you don't do that, you're going to miss out on your cruise because I down there have just got the final tickets for the supper club on my last night. I've also just got one of the final performances of Choir a Man that's available, so there definitely will be people on this ship that don't know about that. So make sure you get on, go and book things straight away and get it done. Now, anyway, I'm delighted to be in this cabin. You know, I wasn't sure how I'd feel getting on this ship, but it feels so weirdly nostalgic. And this is the first time when it's felt like I'm coming back home on a cruise ship. I used to always think MSC Virtuosa was my homely ship and it felt really comfortable. But see, coming back on here, honestly, I feel like I have never left. I feel like I left here 5 minutes ago and that's me now back. So, yeah, it's a lovely feeling when you get that. Now, anyway, look, plan for today. Now, I am going to go read all of this information, look at all the paperwork we've got. Now, there's all these leaflets. There's then the Freestyle Daily, which is Norwegian's version of a daily schedule. So I'm going to have to go and dissect them and figure out what on earth is in here. I'll come back and walk you through all this documentation so that you know what there is after I've done it, because you don't need me doing it live, because that'll be boring as anything. And the other thing I'm going to go and do now, guys, so as a solo traveller in a studio cabin, you get access to the studio lounge. Now, I'll do a separate video to talk you through the solo offering from Norwegian, but this is one thing that I've always been so impressed on from these guys. As a solo, all of our rooms are in a separate part of the ship to everyone else, so normal passengers can't get into here because it's all an exclusive shut-off area only for solo travellers. Now, you've then got the lounge at the bottom, which is beautiful, and they've got food, they've got drinks, they've got coffees, they've got just snacks, and it's a lovely space to go and chill out in. So I'm going to go in there, grab a coffee, and see who I can meet, because generally speaking, everybody in there is up for having a chat and up for meeting people. So I think the first solo thing tonight is at 6:30, and that will be after Sailaway. So yeah, look, I'm going to go grab a coffee, then have a read of, the literature, shall we call it, and then I'll come back on and talk to you about the plan for tonight, and also the Sailaway plan, because I can't wait for that just shortly. Right, guys, let's talk paperwork, and then it's time for Sailaway. So let's try and do this as quickly as we possibly can. Now, you can see here, there is a ton of paperwork in this cabin, which, in this day and age, I'd like to see this gone, because some of this is totally unnecessary. Let's rattle off them first. Now, up first, we've got adverts for jewellery. We've got adverts for a jewellery raffle. We've then got a bit of paper welcoming me back as part of the loyalty programme. All of that, I don't think we really need it in here. Now, the other bits of paper we've got, one is our tender information for tomorrow, which I'll talk to you about in tomorrow's vlog rather than today. We've then got a declaration card for when we get to Canada. Now, this is pretty important, actually. Now, this is basically just, it has to be filled out before we get to our first Canadian port of call, which is St. John. Now, we don't then have to fill one in for every other port by the looks of it, because St. John, once we're in Canada, we don't then leave Canada and re-enter. Now, that's the problem that we had on Meraviglia last week. because we went to St John and then came back down to go to Portland, Maine, I think. Whereas this itinerary sort of does it far more strategically, to be honest with you. So, declaration card for Canada. We've then got more information for St John. So this is basically just looking at how to fill out that customs form. And then you've got the freestyle daily. That is the quickest I have ever walked you guys through paperwork. That's how you know that I can't wait to get to this top deck. Now, anyway, plan for now. Sailaway. Oh my goodness. Sailaway tonight is going to be stunning. So we will be, in about 10 minutes time, pushing back. I'm looking up here because I've got the TV on right now so I can see that we haven't moved yet. In about 10 minutes time, we'll be pushing back from the dock and we'll be heading out to sea. Now that means that we'll be cruising straight past the Statue of Liberty, and we should get a pretty amazing view of the whole of Manhattan when we're in the process of doing that. This, to me, guys, honestly, Sailaway last week, that was, to be honest, a dream come true for me, leaving Brooklyn on a cruise ship, looking at New York. Today, I think, is going to be something else, because, yeah, you're right in the middle of the city at this cruise terminal, and of all the ships to do this kind of sail away on, this is perfect, because this is the first ship that I was ever on. Honestly, I can't wait. I feel like I talk about it and I get goosebumps at the thought. But look, I'll come back and tell you about what we're going to do tonight later, but let's get up on that top deck right now for what should be one of the most impressive sailaways that I've ever done. As I got outside on the top deck of the ship, Norwegian Escape had already started the manoeuvre out from the dock to head out to sea. As I stood there on that top deck, I couldn't help but realise I had the biggest lump in my throat, and I felt so emotional just watching this ship leaving such a bucket list port like New York City. It was incredible. If you've never experienced sailing out of New York, please add it to your bucket list to try and cruise from the Manhattan terminals, because this was honestly like nothing I've ever seen before. If you haven't cruised from New York and you don't think you will ever make it there, then thank you for letting me share my experience with you, and I really hope that over the next minute or so you can experience for yourself some of the absolute magic of this situation. Anyway, I'll leave you to enjoy some of the shots as we leave on the top deck of a very busy Norwegian Escape, and this footage will end when we pass underneath the Verrazzano-Narrows Bridge, which is the bridge that connects Brooklyn on one side to Staten Island on the other. So enjoy watching us leave one of the most incredible cities on the planet, and I'll catch up with you at the back of the ship afterwards.
Just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours. Just as surprised as you.
Guys, we have successfully cruised out of New York for the second time running. Now, last time I thought Brooklyn Cruise Terminal delivered a pretty impressive sailaway, but nothing like this. This was remarkable. Granted, tonight we've had the weather, which I think when you've got decent weather for something like that, it really does transform it. Last time it was pouring with rain and I was on the top deck trying not to drown, but tonight the conditions have been absolutely beautiful. I absolutely loved every single minute of that. The atmosphere on here for that sailaway was next level. That was, oh, it was so good. Anyway, look, plan for now. We've got a beautiful sunset coming on right now, but I don't have time to stand and watch it tonight because I need to get to the first solo meetup of the cruise. Now, Norwegian pride themselves on their solo offering, and as I said earlier, I'll do a separate video on the solo offering on this ship to talk to you about it in more detail. But long story short, every night they have a meetup on board. So tonight I'm heading along at 6:30 to the first meetup of the cruise, and then every night from now they'll be at 5 PM along in the studio lounge. So look, I'm going to go there, hopefully hang out with some new friends for the week, and I'll speak to all of you before dinner back down in the cabin. But for now, wow. Right, solo meetup has just gone really well actually. Now, I went to the venue where the solo meetup was. Tonight it wasn't in the studio lounge, it was elsewhere. But basically I showed up 15 minutes late, and what had happened was the person organising the solo meetup had decided, let's move it from that venue to the studio lounge because that makes sense. Now, she rounded everyone up, took them to the studio lounge, and then 15 minutes later I showed up at the original bar. So what then happened? Oh, God, I'm cringing at the thought. What then happened was I then walked around the bar asking every table if they were solo. If they were solo, if they were solo. And they were like, no, of course I'm not solo, I'm here with my family. Oh, right, okay. Anyway, that's embarrassing. So I think I've just embarrassed myself probably in front of about 50 people up there, which is annoying. However, anyway, I retreated back to the studio lounge because I thought down there, this isn't going well. Maybe if I just come back to the studio lounge, someone in there will be solo that I can talk to. And lo and behold, I came back and everyone was in there. So, yeah, a little bit late to the party, but it ended up good fun, actually. So I really enjoyed that. Now, anyway, sail away tonight. Good grief. As I said up there, guys, I thought Brooklyn was a great sail away last week, but that tonight, that honestly was fantastic. If you're looking to cruise from New York, try and get on a ship that goes from Manhattan Cruise Terminal. I've seen nothing like that before. We backed out on the ship with the whole skyline directly in front of us. We then spun round and we then went by, we just went by everything. Every single New York landmark we went right past, with the Empire State Building creeping in every 2 minutes. Oh, I will remember that sail away forever. That's one of those moments. There's been a couple of them this year. I remember thinking, like, as I went through the Panama Canal, as I went through the Suez Canal, like, there's been quite a few sailaways as well that I look at and think, do you know, I'll never forget that. And tonight is one of them. I think Brooklyn, yeah, fine, good. But tonight, yeah, that's blown me away. Anyway, look, plan for tonight so that you don't end up sitting here listening to me chatting for hours. Right, on the daily schedule today, so you can see here, you've got everything broken down hour by hour all the way through the day. Now, it is quite late. I want to change before dinner because, as you can see, I'm still wearing what I had on earlier. So, by the time I'm ready to go out, I'll be having dinner tonight about 8:30 PM. So, it's going to be quite late. Now, I am going to one of the included dining rooms tonight. So, I'm intrigued to see what the dining quality in a main dining room is like on here because, to be honest, I was last on Norwegian in 2018. I can't remember. So, let's explore that one together. Now, after dinner, I will probably have a relatively chilled one because I'm up early tomorrow because we're in Newport, Rhode Island, and that's one of the ports that MSC messed up a little bit last week, and I only got about 20 minutes ashore. So I'm keen to get up tomorrow as early as possible and get that tender off the ship. But a couple of things that I probably will do. There's a game show that kicks off at 9, so if I can make it to that, then I'll pop along and see what that looks like. That's in the atrium. You've then got, there's a movie in the supper club, there's another movie in the atrium later, and there's a welcome on board dance party, which is in Skyline, which I think is one of the clubs on board. So yeah, I think my plan is going to be dinner, probably followed by game show / dance party. Let's see how we get on, but to be honest, I think it's going to be a relatively early night for me. Now, anyway, that's it. I'm going to voice over in the next part, but this is the last time that you will see me physically on camera tonight, because I'm going to go have a glass of wine and relax. And as you know, I hate coming back on camera after a couple of drinks, so I'm not going to do it. Otherwise, I'll end up closing off today's vlog tomorrow morning, which again, I refuse to do. So look, wherever you're watching this from, I really hope you've enjoyed seeing a little bit of Norwegian Escape, and also what it looks like to board a cruise ship in Manhattan and sail out of Manhattan. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, it would be amazing if you could jump down below, give it a thumbs up for me, because that just helps to push my content to loads more people. And while you're there, if you would think about subscribing to the channel as well, that would be amazing. But look, it's not over yet, so don't come off this video, because we're still to experience dinner and a full night on board Norwegian Escape. On our way to one of the main dining rooms tonight, let me show you one of my favourite elements of this cruise ship. Look at this absolutely stunning frosted glass LED lit staircase, and look at that chandelier. Absolutely amazing. Anyway, here's one of the bars on board Norwegian Escape. You'll find this directly between the entrances to Savour and Taste, two of the main dining rooms. So when you arrive to book your table, you've got somewhere that you can hang out and have a drink. A really good idea. Anyway, my dinner tonight was in Taste, which is one of those venues. Here's the menu. If you follow me for a while, you'll know that I quite like to show you a menu so that you could get a feel for, if you were to be on this cruise ship, what would you order? Who knows? You never know. We might end up ordering exactly the same meal. The menu in here was huge. There was even an optional extra section where you could order from Cagney's Steakhouse and have it delivered into the main dining room. Here's the view from my table. You can see that I dined on my own. I got a table right by the window, and look at those waves. How relaxing. Anyway, what did I order tonight? To start, I went for the wontons, which you could see at the start of the previous menu, and then after that, I moved on to the chicken dish. Look at the size of the portions here. I really could not complain. Next up was dessert. You could choose from the desserts at the top, or there was a no sugar added variant, or you could just get a coffee. Of course, I went for dessert and I chose creme brulee, which was absolutely brilliant. I'll show you so much more of the food on board in my future videos. After dinner, I headed along to the Majority Rules game show, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoy how Norwegian do this kind of thing. And then it was time for bed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. If you enjoyed this video today, did you know that you can become a member of my YouTube channel for an exclusive behind the scenes look at some of the ships that I'm travelling on? If you're over on Patreon, then I would love to see you over there. All you have to do to join me on that community is just search www.patreon.com/Fraser@Sea. Both my YouTube memberships and my Patreon site lead directly to me getting on more cruise ships, and both offer a completely behind the scenes look at what's going on.